Do you know if we're going to help you save more money? Well, I can definitely do that, but I'm going to show you a savings calculator tool it has built in so you can do some forward-looking projections for your savings. Hey, I'm DiSanto, by the way. I'm a fractional CFO to businesses and high-income individuals, and I am an all-around Quicken expert here on YouTube. So let's hop into this video right away and let's look at the savings calculator. So I'm over here under this planning tab. There's a sort of a bar up here. And by the way, I'm in Quicken Classic for Windows, which is the locally installed version of Quicken, and the one we've known and loved for 40 years on Windows. There is a locally installed version for the Macs called Quicken Classic for Mac, and now they have a new completely web-based product called Quicken Simplify. And they probably have a tool in both of those other versions similar to this, but I'm in the planning section here, and I'm not going to look at any of these. This is kind of a hidden tool. There's some thing called planning tools right here, and it's different kinds of calculators. And this one we're going to look at is the savings calculator. And really all this does, this calculator, is shows you, hey, if I saved, X, Y dollars per month or year, and it was invested at this rate, what would I end up with over time? But there's a couple other little caveats that I want to point out. So we're going to do a simple calculation. Let's just, and there's some kind of goals here. So we're going to go for ending savings balance. Essentially, you can kind of reverse engineer the way you look at this based on these calculation options, but we're going to start at 0. We're going to say the annual yield, and what that means is if I take this savings and I invest it as I save it, and I make an 8% average annual return on those invested savings, where do I end up? I'm gonna keep it simple here and just say we're gonna save for 10 years. You can do months or quarters or whatever if you want, but I'm gonna say years. The inflation rate's an interesting factor that I'm gonna explain here. I'm gonna be kinder to us and say the average inflation is gonna be 4%. I mean 3%, 4%, and I'm gonna contribute $12,000 a year. In this example, that's $1,000 a month, and I'm going to uncheck this for now, and it shows you what our ending savings balance is. So if I started today, I put $1,000 a month in, or in this case, $12,000 a year in at an average yield of 8%, I'd end up with 173 and change $1,000. And you could even look at a schedule of how that grows right here. Now, the inflation thing is a key thing that I'm glad they have this in the calculator. Right now, it's kind of a little hard to understand, but right now we are looking at the actual value the money would be 10 years from now, in just standard dollar value. $173,000. However, and that's 10 years from now. If I say here, show the money in the total in today's value, click this. Now it says 129, and you might be wondering why is it doing that? And well, what it's doing is it's saying, hey, you're going to physically have $178,000 in 10 years, but because of its inflation, because of the inflation factor, that $178,000 is only going to be worth the equivalent of $130,000 today. So you're like, because your money in the future will buy you less goods. So if you're like, well, I don't want $130,000 of buying power in 10 years, I want $175,000 of buying power. Well, you got to save more, which is obviously super annoying, but that is the, just reality of inflation. So I'm kind of just doing a little math here. So say we save, 16,500 a year. and I have this checked. Now, in future spendable money, or future monies that will buy me the same goods as today, I have to save $16,500, even though the actual money I'll have in the future is 240. So inflation sucks, basically. We all know that. But it actually, it sucks today and it sucks way down the road. But this calculator is eye opening in that it shows you that. Now, I will say I don't think the way Quicken labels things is always very clear. It's not clear in this case. Show in today's money. That sort of makes sense, but I think that could be confusing for people, or for some people. So anyway, I wanted to spend some time really pointing that out. Now, I'm gonna keep this off just so we can see like actual total physical dollars we'll have in the future. Now, if I have this, just so you know, compounding every year, if I say, let's change this to months and I do it for 120 months. Oops, is that right? No, 120 months, 10 years. That's right. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to go back to my original example and I'm going to do $1,000 a month. We end up with slightly more money, because we're compounding monthly versus annually. So just heads up there, but it's not all that much different. I think it was a total of $4,000, $5,000 over the years, but makes a difference. And generally you would be putting hopefully money aside monthly and getting that money invested on a monthly basis. Thereby your money is growing and compounding monthly versus annually. So that is the situation there. Now, if we look at these regular contribution version, we kind of reverse engineer the calculator. Like we say here, hey, we start with 0. We're going to save. I'm just going to make it back to years for ease of use. We save for 10 years. But what if I want to end with 300,000? I want to know how much I have to save. Well, in order to end with 300,000, I have to make contributions of 20,000 a month. I'm sorry, 20,000 a year, in this case. So that's, just looking at the calculator from a different angle. And then if I if I do this one where I have a starting savings balance, and then if I do this one where I choose a starting savings balance, the calculator is going to tell me how much of my current money I need to start with and keep based on what I'm going to put in. So if I now have 10 years and I'm going to put in, say, 12,000 a year, but I want $300 in the end, my starting balance today has to be 60. So I have to take 60,000, I have to commit it to savings, and now I can do the rest of my routine of 12,000 a year for 10 years at an annual 8% yield, and I'll end up with my goal. So 3 ways the calculator looks at it, ultimately all kind of calculating the same sum total of information, but giving you different ways to factor it. So it's a great calculator, and the inflation thing really is eye-opening in a sad way. So there you go. There's a savings calculator. And by the way, if you like my content, you want more of it, but you want it in a distilled version in order and help you to understand personal finance from a bird's eye view, check out my course, Personal Finance Mastery. It's on my website, DiSanto.com. There's also a link below. And if you like my categories and a lot of what you see in my videos, my course comes with a database template that will give you my categories right from the get-go and save you many hours of setup and configuration. Cool. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.